Hello, welcome to the Fall 2020 orientation for the Department of Curriculum Instruction. My name is Dan Robinson. I'm the Department Chair of the Department of Curriculum Instruction, and I'll be sort of hosting today. And welcome everybody. I know we have about 150 people joined in so far. And please bear with us. We've been trying this for the last week with Microsoft Teams Live since we have such a large group, and it's only crashed two of the two times that we've tried it. So we're crossing our fingers that today we don't have any technical issues. We do have the chat line open, so if you have any questions, you can feel free to use the chat today throughout the 1 hour orientation. And we have people that are standing by to try to answer your questions. So I'm going to start today introducing the Dean of the College of Education, then I'm going to introduce our faculty, and then we have a couple of speakers today. So without further ado, let me introduce our Dean, Dr. Teresa Tabor Doty, and we'll see if we can switch cameras and go to the Dean.
Good morning. I can see the can you hear me? Okay, good. Well, I don't know if you can see my face, but that's okay if you can't, because we're all living behind masks these days. But anyway, welcome to fall semester. I realize that we are starting off in a whole different landscape than how we started in semesters past, and so this is a new adventure for all of us. And I'm pleased to say that, you know, while we had a few hiccups along the way when this all happened back in March, during the summer things went much more smoothly, as well as we are now starting the fall. So, you know, please know that we are continually looking to improve how we're delivering instruction in this new reality that we have, but that we are here if you are having challenges or struggling with not only your classes, but getting access, please don't hesitate first to contact your instructor. And if your instructor is not able to help, you know, contact your department chair, but just keep asking for help if you are struggling. We want to make sure that you are getting the best possible experience that you can get, even though we're all dealing with this craziness this semester. I think we can do well, and I know we did really well in the spring and in the summer. You know, one of the interesting things that we've had to deal with is with the Texas Education Agency and all of their many requirements that we have to meet as professional educators. Sometimes that can be challenging, but I want you to know that starting last spring and throughout the summer, we have continued to work not only directly with TEA, but also with other universities across the state, so that we are speaking in a single voice about what we need to happen to make sure that all of you are successful and able to complete all the requirements that you need to complete and the experiences so that you can be rightfully certified in the state of Texas. And so what that means is that some of the experiences may look a little different, and you know, it's not all that bad to actually now have to learn how to teach virtually if you have not had that experience before, because I think, you know, in the future, this is something we're all going to need to be really skilled at doing. And so now's the time to get some of that guided experience, and also working with those cooperating teachers who are also teaching virtually. You know, we're all in this together, and I see it as, while it's challenging, it can also turn out to be a real positive. If you are coming to campus at all, you know, I know that everybody is aware of all the new guidelines and making sure that, you know, you're washing your hands, you have a mask on. Please know that throughout the college and across the university, we have taken even extra precautions in terms of, you know, limiting the number of people who are here on campus. Even in the offices, we've got, you know, protective screens up so that if you need to come in person and meet with an advisor, you can do so safely, because everyone will have a mask on. We've got the plastic shields like you see now at the grocery store and out in public, but we've got hand sanitizer galore. And I even have, let me show you, I have one of the rare to find Clorox wipes, but we have these all over the college. So, you know, we're making sure that we're keeping things as clean and safe as possible, so that so that if you need to come to campus, that you can do so and feel a little more comfortable knowing that everybody is doing our best to follow all the guidelines to keep you safe. But at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure you have an amazing experience, that you are learning what you need to learn to be outstanding education professionals, and we are here to help you do that. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Contact your faculty members, contact the department chair. You can even contact me and I will help direct you to the person who can find you answers. So I wish you the very best as you get started this fall semester, and we will be cheering you on as things get started. So welcome to fall semester.
Thank you, Teresa. Appreciate it. So now I'm going to go on and go with introductions of faculty. And just let me quickly go through. We would have had faculty live with us today, but that would have taken too much time to switch in and out of cameras. So I'm just showing photos and their slides. So our next up is, if I can get my slides to advance, Dr. Carla Amaro, who's an associate professor in our bilingual ESL program. Ann Cavallo is a professor in science education and is also an assistant vice provost and runs our Center for Research on Teaching and Learning Excellence. Mary Curtis is an assistant professor in our social studies secondary program and mid-level. Sonia Izell is a brand new visiting assistant professor, and Sonia is helping with our EC6 programs. Amber Green is an assistant professor in special education. Brenda Harris is a clinical instructor. She also helps with our advanced online programs, and Brenda also teaches for us in our mid-level program. Melissa Hewlings is a brand new assistant professor. Melissa was with us previously as a clinical professor, but now she is on the tenure track, and she is going to be working with us this fall in a completely new role. Holly Hungerford Kresser is an associate professor in our English language arts program. And Bree Jimenez is a brand new faculty member joining us all the way from Australia. Bree is an associate professor in special education. Robin Josias is also a brand new associate professor, and Robin is in our literacy program. Candace Joswick is in her second year now, and she's an assistant professor in the in secondary education in our math program. And also in our math program is Dr. Christopher Cribbs, who's a full professor and splits time between curriculum instruction and the math department. Juhi Lee is professor in our EC6 program, and Dr. Lee, I'm going to introduce later, is also our incoming department chair, and she's going to have a few words with you. I'm the outgoing department chair, so a week from now, Dr. Lee will be your department chair. Joyce Myers, we don't have a photo for Joyce, but many of you know Dr. Myers. She's a clinical assistant professor and also runs and teaches our EC6 program. Amanda Olson is in her second year. She's an assistant professor, and her specialty is research methods, statistics. Paul Polanco is a brand new assistant professor joining us this year, and Paul is in the bilingual ESL program. Catherine Poles, an associate professor in our literacy program. And that's me. I will just be a regular old professor this time next week, and I'll also be associate dean for research. John Romig is, I believe John is in his third year, assistant professor in the special education program. Luis Rosado is a professor in the bilingual ESL program. And Dora Salazar is a clinical assistant professor who teaches in our bilingual ESL EC6 program, and Dora is also helping us run the bilingual program. Peggy Semmingson is an associate professor in our literacy program. David Sparks is an assistant professor in science education, secondary level. Kathleen Tice, we don't have a photo for Kathleen, but Kathleen teaches in our literacy program. Jody Tomerdal is an associate professor, and Jody is in my program, which is Learning Sciences, and Jody also helps teach in the Mind, Brain, and Education Master's program. Deborah Williams is brand new, joining us this year, and Deborah is helping with the literacy program, visiting assistant professor. And Dr. Ji Yoon Yoon is an associate professor in our science education EC6 program. I am now going to turn it over to Dr. Lee, who's our incoming department chair, and she's just going to have a few words with you real briefly, and then we're going to turn it over to Denise Collins. So let's see if we can get Dr. Lee on video.
Am I on? Not yet? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Robinson, for introduction. Hello, everyone. I welcome all of you to a new semester, and I hope you had a safe summer and are ready for the classes this Wednesday. And I knew this won't be a traditional campus experience you would expect, and the COVID-19 will continue to challenge us, by the way. However, as Dr. Dory mentioned, please know that CNI Community College of Education are here for you. If you need help, reach out to your professors and advisors for resources and support. And with our efforts together, and I'm confident that we will have a successful summer. And the most important thing, everyone, and be safe and be healthy. Thank you.
I don't know if it's back to me yet. Oh. Denise, you're on.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dr. Collins, in charge of the Office of Educational Field Experiences, and I also have two other names up there on the slide, Angela Watson and Emily Wanick, who are people you'll get to know a lot through the, mostly through email, I think, at this point. I also put our website up there and our email, so if you have any questions, just please reach out to us and we'll be there for you. So one of the things that my job is to make sure that all of you are able to get certified by the state of Texas. And so there are a lot of hoops you're going to have to jump through, a lot of detail you're going to have to pay attention to. And in a way that's good because it's what's going to happen as you're actually in the field as a teacher. So it's kind of preparing you to go into that direction. So one of the things that's tremendously important for you at this point to be thinking about are the professional dispositions. And we have a whole set of ideas and thoughts and things that you need to follow. And I'm going to go through some of those. But first of all, just in general saying, what does it mean to be a professional? This is what we're going to help you learn as you go through the next couple of years in the College of Education, is that all of your professors and all of us that will be orienting you in various places and positions will be helping you to understand what does it mean to be a professional educator. And so I just want you to know that I'm going to touch on some of these professional dispositions. We're not going to go into in depth in all of them because they can be found at this particular site on our webpage. And you need to go there, you need to read them, you need to look at the rubric so that you understand what these are all about and that you remember to follow them. You will be assessed on these dispositions in some of your courses. We have key courses that these are going to be assessed in, so you really do need to pay attention and be aware of them. And there are basically 6 categories. I'm not going to read through all of them right now, but there are 6 different categories, and I'm going to touch on what I would say are the most important points in terms of paying attention and understanding so that you don't have any issues or blurps along the way in your goals. So professional demeanor is one of the most important things, and this means that you have composure and self-control. When you get into the field and you're out there working with students, they are going to challenge you. And you need to know that I have the control here, and that I understand and I will maintain composure when you're being challenged by some of those students. And other things that happen, most importantly, at this point in your life, is that you need to respond positively to constructive criticism. Because the thing about this is that you are in a learning position right now. And so lots and lots of people are going to be guiding you and telling you what you need to do to be a good teacher. Be prepared for that. Know that it's going to happen. It's not that we're trying to put you down. It's not that anybody's trying to make you feel bad about who you are. It's that we're trying to help you to grow. That's our goal. That's our whole point of being in college, right? So we need to make sure that you respond positively to those things and try to understand what it is that you are being told. That you follow appropriate channels of communication or authority. And by this, what we mean is that if you know who is immediately the person you're supposed to go to, who is directly above you, then that's who you go to first. So if you have issues with your courses, you first go to your faculty person that's teaching the course. If that doesn't get any information for you or satisfy you, then you go to your department chair. And if that doesn't work, then you can move up the level to the dean. If you start over with the office of the president, they're going to throw you right back to us, and we're going to be like, oh, why we could have just handled this so easily the first time around if you would have just come to us. So understand that what we're trying to say to you is come to us. We're here to help. We're here to guide you. And we're here to help you to be successful. I always say that's, my number one goal is to help you to be successful. That you need to react professionally, calm, and patient during stressful situations. And there will be a lot of stressful situations right as you move forward. We're all sort of feeling a little extra stress, I think, because of COVID-19, but we need to understand that it's going to be our job to remain patient for those students that we're going to be working with in the classrooms, and we need to remain professionals through all of that. The next one that I want to touch on are complying with class and program requirements. And this is tremendously important because you are being evaluated by the Texas Education Agency. And most of the requirements that you will see, you'll be like, why? Why do I have to do that? And the answer is because the Texas Education Agency, TEA, has said so. And if you want to be certified, then you need to follow the rules. And so that's the program that we're in. And it's my job to help you to make sure that you cross all those T's and dot all those I's, and you're doing what you need to do to be successful in getting certified as a teacher. So part of that is to attend classes, trainings, and field experiences. This is not one of those programs where you can go, yeah, I'll show up and take the final. That is not going to help you. There are a lot of things in here that you need to learn and how to teach. And if you're not attending your classes, whether that's virtual or on campus, then you're not gaining the information that you need to gain in order to be a successful teacher. The trainings, the field experiences, all of that is there for us to guide you and help you as we go along. So when we send out those emails, you need to pay attention. You need to jump in on those trainings and those experiences. And the next one is arriving on time, whether that's virtually or in the classroom, and that you remain for the duration of the time you're supposed to be there. And a lot of that has to do with when you're out in your field experiences and you're in the ISD classrooms, that the first thing that I'm going to get a call on from a cooperating teacher, and that's kind of the person who you're going to be in their classroom, they're going to be guiding you through this experience. I'm going to get a call if you do not show up on time. And so do whatever it takes, adjust yourself now, and get prepared so that when you say you're going to be in the classroom, you are actually there in the classroom, and that you remain for the duration. And that means that if your teacher says I have to be on virtually and I'm going to let you into my classroom from 9 to 12, you stay from 9 to 12. That's the time that you are there. And that's going to all be worked out around your classes. Don't worry about that. All the times worked out around your classes, and you will have various experiences as you go through. I might say at this point that we don't know exactly what it's going to look like going into the field this semester, what observations are going to be like. We do have some ISDs that are saying we're not taking any observers. We're going to take your clinical teachers, which is the final clinical teaching semester, but some of them are not taking observers at this point. So we're going to do whatever it takes to get you into a classroom as much as we possibly can in the schools. But if not, your faculty members are going to guide you on what you need to do and how that's going to look. So understand we are here to answer your questions and guide you through these processes. And this last one, be prepared, engaged, and meet deadlines. So when you get an email from someone, I'm going to say me, I've been sending emails out all spring and all summer, just asking you to please go in and get some of you, not all of you, excuse me, asking people to get their TK20 portfolios done. And if you don't respond to that, and if you don't get in there and get that done, then you're going to have some issues. It's going to delay you as far as how to move forward and get things done. So be prepared, be engaged, and meet those deadlines. And then the next one is professional practices. And this is demonstrating academic integrity and honesty is the #1 piece of this, that you are following protocol, you're doing your own work. Excuse me, I've had allergy issues pop up as of yesterday. I was outside all day. And so maintaining appropriate confidentiality at all times is a biggie of this. And what we mean by that is that you're not out there gossiping and talking about other students, and particularly the students that you are going to be observing in the ISDs. So if you're out in a classroom with a group of students, you need to remember that it is not, you cannot go out and discuss those students with other people. You cannot talk about them, and only to the teacher that you're in the classroom with. And that doesn't mean gossip. And so I want you to be very, very careful about this and very confidential. And we'll talk about this again a little bit later. But please, please be careful. I'll just say, you know, a crazy thing, and I mean, and this is how weird it sometimes can be, is that I had a student one time in the line at a grocery store talking to her roommate about a student, didn't even mention the name, but the person standing in line behind them happened to be that student's mother. And she went to the principal and said, she didn't say my son's name, but she did mention him. I know she's my son's clinical teacher, and I know she was talking about him. And she was basically escorted out of the building at that point. So oddly, weird thing that happens, but I'm just saying, here's the extreme. Please be careful about this confidentiality. It is tremendously important as a professional. Next is that you're demonstrating compliance with all laws and regulations, and we're going to give you those, and you're going to learn about all of those, and demonstrating compliance with university policies and the Texas Education Association standards, and those are all going to be presented to you mostly through the TK20 portfolio and through your courses. And that's going to be, you're going to learn about that in just a minute, the TK20 portfolio. Professional appearance is highly important. You need to remember that you display personal appearance, which is very becoming of a professional, and that hygiene is appropriate for professional settings. And that means, and I know it's been really, really easy to sit behind your computer right now and not have to worry about completely how you look. But if you are in a classroom virtually or in person, please remember to dress appropriately, comb your hair, look good, be prepared for going on that video. So pay attention. Dress codes, what I want to say about that mostly is that the dress code has to be followed, that is in the school district that you're in your ISD. And we also have our own dress code, so you're going to have to read through both of those. And mostly it just means pay attention, look professional. And I know some of you are going to go out and go, my CT is wearing flip-flops all the time. And my answer to that is they have a job and you don't. And so that's up to their principal to help them and guide them if that's what the principal wants. But for you, once you start entering those schools, you are in a job interview. you are looked at, you're paid attention to, and everything you do is going to influence whether or not you get a job in the schools. Social media is very, very important. I know, I think I need to update this now. There's all kinds of new things up there I don't have on, but whatever social media you're using, it should not ever involve the students that you have in your classrooms. So please remember that you do not post things that are negative, positive, no pictures about your students, anything on any of your social media. Just be careful about that. Texting and checking emails, and what I want to say about this is that you need to check your emails daily, particularly if you're out in the field, because there are times that I may get a call from a principal and the principal may say something like, please have a conversation with your student before they return to my school. And if I get that, I need to make sure that you're not going back out into the school. So I may send you an email, particularly if you're in your 1 day a week in the fall as a senior, or your clinical experiences. I may send you an email at 4:30 in the afternoon saying you need to come to my office, or we need to get virtually on our computers, and we need to have a conversation before you go back out into your classroom. And what I want to say about texting is that be careful who you're texting and what you're saying on text. It all counts. It's all available for people to see. And with that, also the district's acceptable use policy is very, very important. Your CT should be telling you about that. That's your cooperating teacher, or the teacher who you're observing in a classroom, who's going to guide you through all of your policies. And the thing about the acceptable use policy is that you need to pay attention to what they're telling you to do, what you are and are not allowed to do when it comes to social media. And two other real specific things about that. One is you should not be on social media while you're in a classroom or on your school computers. That is, if you're sitting in the back of a classroom, and you may be doing this this semester, who knows, but if you are sitting in a classroom, you need to make sure that you're not sitting there texting. Your phone should be put away, your computer should be put away, unless you have told and talked with your teacher of record that you're saying, oh, I'm going to be taking notes on my computer, would that be okay? We should be good with that kind of a thing, but have the conversations with your teachers who you're observing so that you know what you are and are not supposed to be doing. Again, no discussions or pictures about the student while you're in your teaching experiences. Do not post them on social media. And I just want to jump back and say, do not text students. Students sometimes, particularly if you're in a secondary setting, will like to get on and text with you. Do not do it. It is the #1 way you can get in trouble as a teacher, as a student, being in the classroom with these young children. So please be careful, and no texting of the students. And the last thing that you need to be aware of is that within this professional dispositions, we have something that we call a digressions report. And this is used in cases where we feel like you need some extra guidance and you need to really, really jump up and pay attention to something. And so we will call you in, do it whether it's virtually or face-to-face. We will talk about the issues. We'll go down through the disposition with you. Everybody will make sure that you look at it, you sign it, and that will be kept in our virtual files. This document will indicate violations towards the policy and the guidelines of the professional disposition. So please, again, read those and make sure you're aware of what you're supposed to be following in the College of Education. And procedures for addressing these are also specified in the digression report or in the professional dispositions itself. So again, go to that link and look at it. The other thing that you're going to need to become very, very, very familiar with are the Texas Administrative Code, and we'll be giving you links to that and sharing all of that with you as you go through the program. Mostly you'll be seeing that again in your TK20 portfolio. So I am finished. Please email me anytime, or either one of my associates if you have any issues or problems. Thank you, and I hope you have a great semester.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Brown, and I'm going to be showing the TK20 portfolio. So I've logged in here, and I'm going to go down to portfolios. And I have a portfolio that says Initial Teacher Certification Portfolio. And you may have, it will say something different. It'll have a different issue date. It might have some other name here. So, but they are all the same. They are separated by programs so that each person can be assessed by a different group of professors. So that's why they have different names on them, but they all look exactly and are all used exactly the same. So when you first go in, you have a kind of an explanation of how to use the portfolio, and then you have several tabs. There are the UTA TEA required documents tab, the TEA required trainings, cooperating teacher documents, UTA supervisor documents, assessment, extensions, and feedback. We will use the first 4 tabs. We will not use the last 3 tabs. They are built into the portfolio, but we are not using them at this time. So in the UTA TEA required documents, there are 4 different things. One of the things I wanted to mention that you need to be very aware of is do not use multiple tabs in your browser when using the portfolio. So do not click and say open in a new tab on any of these tabs. It will cause problems with your portfolio that we are not able to fix. We actually have to go back to Watermark, who are the developers of TK20, to get that fixed. So that is one of the first things you want to be aware of. The other one is there's a big green submit button down here, and it's green and it is attractive, and you want to click it. And if you submit your portfolio, you can't continue to add things to your portfolio. So you only actually submit it one time. But if you submit it, it's not the end of the world. If you submit it and realize, oh wait, I didn't mean to submit that, you go back to this screen right here, which is the where you go into the portfolio. You check the box in front of it, and then you click this button right here, and it will recall your portfolio so that you can continue to add things back into it. So I'm going to go back to the UTA TEA required documents, and so for like this acknowledgement of clinical teacher handbook, liability insurance, and waiver of liability, click select, and then there's some things to read, there's some things, some links. You will type your name. Your name should appear right there. You'll type your name. If you have a document that needs to be uploaded, there's a select file where you can just drag it into this box right here. And then if you'll notice in every one of these places that you have to upload or do information, there is a place for an additional document. So it says the area below is for any additional documentation can be attached. And there's an optional area. So in this one, there's probably, in this one criteria, the acknowledgement of clinical teaching handbook, there's probably not anything that needs to be added. I'm going to click cancel to go back out. And one of the ones I'm going to go to is the cooperating teacher documents. There is an observation log, and in here you upload your observation log, but you might attach, lesson plans from when you were doing observation, seating charts, those types of things. Those are good supporting type documentation that you would add in down here. So that's just an example. All of the areas have some place for you to upload an additional document. Under the TEA required trainings, one of the ones that a lot of people have had problems with is the mental health training. We have redone this link, so it should work now. So a lot of people were having problems with this link. It wasn't working with certain browsers. We redid that, so it looks like it works in all browsers now. The workaround, if this link doesn't work, is to copy it and just open a new tab and paste. And you can get to that. And it was just a technical glitch between the government website and the way that TK20 wanted to handle that link. So we redid that. So that is how you do the portfolio. There's lots of different sections. There's lots of different things to upload. Every one of them has an explanation for what they are, and they have a link for if it's some document that you need to get signed. There's a link to it. So I'll go back to the cooperating teacher documents and look at observation log. and there is a link to the actual blank observation log that you can fill out. Now, you may be given one from your professor in a course, and that's fine as well, but then there's one available here that you can just grab it, download it, print it out, fill it out, and then upload it back to the same exact location, and then you just click add. So that pretty much wraps up the end of the portfolio presentation. There is a link on the field office's website that has a video that walks through this as well. And then, of course, there's also a click sheet on that website as well. So we will, at this point, turn it back over to Dr. Robinson.
Hello. Yeah, well, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Denise, for your presentations today, and thank you to the Dean for stepping in, and also Dr. Lee. As I mentioned, I'm going to be department chair for one more week, and then next week I will be Associate Dean for Research, and Dr. Lee will be your department chair in case you have questions, things like that. Remember that after today, you can continue to get your questions answered. You can email us. Also, the individual programs, some of them have already had meetings, some will be having meetings the rest of this week. So contact your program directors also if you have questions, because I know some of them are going to be following up with meetings. It's kind of a weird day, as the Dean said. Normally today we would all be packed into the Maverick Activity Center. We'd have over 200 of us. We'd be having a huge meeting, having a good time, and breaking up into smaller groups, but that's not meant to be this year. So again, we just want to welcome all of you and make sure that you're on the right track this fall. So if there are questions, please let us know. And have a great week, have a great semester, and good luck to all of you. Bye, everyone.